And good afternoon, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining this weekday Q&A session talking about U.S. immigration law, news, updates, and trying to answer some of your general questions that you're going through, that you're seeing, that you plan on going through, that your family and friends are going through, just to give you a better understanding and giving you education on what's going on in the education system. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. I'm a professor of immigration law and also train immigration attorneys in this process. And I'm happy to share some of my knowledge and experience with you today. But as I said, this is general education only. It's not meant to substitute having an attorney review your individual case and look at your individual background. You could catch the video here live on TikTok. Immigration lawyer John, John, is the username. If you're on Facebook, JQK Law Firm, it's live there as well. But a recording of this will be put on YouTube, as well as clips of it will be posted across my social media. I recommend going to Instagram too. I try to post approval notices there. Gives you information about the success we've had, as well as the timelines that it took, just to give you somewhat of an understanding there. There's other videos I put there that may not be found in other places. If you're on TikTok, just go above to the profile link. There'll be a link tree that has access to my website, a newsletter. You get information on a regular basis from me, as well as other places where you can find information about me and the work that I'm doing, and the U.S. immigration system updates as there are. So as people are trickling in right now, feel free to throw in some questions. I want to let you know, because we're going to probably ask about this several times, they've kind of begun doing interviews or in-person kind of things. So the embassies are beginning to open up. It varies. You have to go check their systems. But to schedule interviews for non-immigrant visas, for example, in June. Or we're getting a word that some people are getting oath ceremony notices for June as well. High five. And so for them to finish their citizenship process and have an oath ceremony, it seems like that's happening as well. So it's something to be looked forward to. Apparently they're going to have social distancing. So there's going to be less spaces open for these oath ceremonies, because people have to be at a distance for the sake of the coronavirus and the like. But at least there's some movement for things to move forward. People who've had a successful citizenship interview now potentially can finish it off and get their naturalization certificate, get their passports, and become U.S. people. Now, getting a passport is another issue. They're kind of slowed down as well, so there's huge delays in getting a passport. But there's some good news right there. Life's kind of getting back to normal. We'll see what happens in the months after that. We'll see what happens with coronavirus. I don't know. USCIS has control over this stuff on their own. I don't know. But there's some trickling, some movement forward on these cases. So that's something to be optimistic about, that life's kind of, moving forward and getting better as it is. Family asks, I'm eagerly awaiting for my interview in Spain. Yeah, so what to do is always check the website. If you've registered or you have a registering system for the calendar there, log on to it and see what's going on. If there's any news, if they rescheduled, or if you give you information. The Immigration Office and the State Department, the embassies, are supposed to send you emails, updates about what's going on with their case, or if there's delays or rescheduling. They don't always do that. So it's on you to check in to see what's going on, to make sure, not to miss anything. And so that's having a lawyer is very important to help you with that. But if you're doing it on your own, please check in. Go to that calendar system, US Visa Docs or Visa Info, if that's the way system it is, to see if something's opening up. But it's going to be different. Some countries have huge coronavirus problems. They're not going to open up there. Some places less, they'll open up there. They're going to do a case-by-case basis depending on what city, country, location you're in. So there's no catch-all kind of thing. USCIS has said that they're going to be reopening June 4th. But yeah, their embassies are mostly closed right now. As I said, in June maybe they'll be opening. But we'll see. Things could change. USCIS was supposed to open up in May 4th, I think it was. But they canceled that and pushed it back. So So that's just a situation, just like we're in every part of life in the U.S. and the world right now are doing day by day to see what's going on. Some states are opening, some aren't. It's the same with the immigration system. It's just life. So it's hard to answer these questions about timelines. But I thought that information would somewhat be helpful. So I give some optimism that things are moving forward. But in the meantime, I'm submitting cases. I submitted a parent of U.S. citizen case last week. I submitted an L1 yesterday, which is intercompany transfer. I'm going to be submitting some marriage cases. You submit stuff. Catsit Kitchen Homes asks, where is it better to get married, in Canada or US? It's not better to get married anywhere. Get married wherever you prefer. Now, if you get married overseas or outside the US and want to come in, there might be situations that would be problematic for your foreign spouse. So I need to review your individual case to see what's going on there, advise it. So it's not about being better or not, it's about seeing which is appropriate immigration-wise, and if either of them are appropriate, then you can make a decision based on personal reasons. But there's a lot more going on to that question I can't discuss here. Schedule a consultation. My office, info@jqqlaw. info@jqqlaw. Fees do apply for consultations, but that's the way to really analyze it to see what's appropriate in your case. So for example, if your spouse is lawfully in the United States and you're a U.S. citizen, you might as well get married here and just file and get the green card. If your spouse leaves or your fiance leaves and you get married in Canada, you might not be able to get the fiance back in or the new spouse back in for another year or two. So there's a lot of things you got to be mindful for when we're talking about this stuff, unless they maybe have an H-1B visa or something like that. But even then, there's some travel bans from Canada even happening where the border is closed. So there's a lot going on there, and that's something you got to be talking about in private. He is in the U.S., I am in Canada. So if you're in Canada, yeah, this is something you best to be talking private, either my office or wherever. Just consult with a couple of immigration attorneys to get an idea. I don't want to talk more details about that because there's some sensitive issues and pieces of information that need to be discussed in private to give you good advice on that. But hopefully you're doing good in Canada. Summer's here. Hopefully you get to see each other soon. The case I'm filing this week is a woman who came on vacation with her fiance. They're planning on getting married in Canada, but all of a sudden, coronavirus hit. And so if they're like, well, we're here at home. I don't want to get on a plane. I don't want to do that. So let's just get married here and stay here. So they changed their mind and we're going to file for the green card here. Intent wasn't really to just stay here because they wanted to go and travel. They had tickets to go to Mexico for a vacation. They had to throw away all their vacation plans out. So it kind of sucks. They lost a lot of money on that, but that's such is life. And hopefully you get it back through the coronavirus and blame it on that. But that's the kind of stuff we see. But it is possible to get married, stay here. With that fact pattern, we need to talk in private to see what's appropriate for your case and what happens and what cannot happen. Well, thank you all the new people who are joining. Cash Mom asks, if the case is on consulate to interview via, Casman, could you re-ask your question? You threw out a lot of key terms in there, but it doesn't come out to a coherent sentence. Re-ask it in a way more specific and that I'm trying to see what's going on. Family asks, is NVC working these days? Yeah, the NVC, the National Visa Center, which is the group that collects the documents before your embassy interview, is working. They're not fully staffed, I believe, so things are slower. They're really focused on either if you're communicating with them on emergency stuff, but they are processing cases. You just got to do your part, upload the cases to SEAC, the system, your DS-260, complete that, upload your affidavit of support, upload your civil documents, and then wait. So they are working. But it's just going to be a little slower than it was. But it's not consistent. I get some cases done really fast, some slower. There's no rhyme or reason of their timelines are. So for example, when a marriage case, for example, USCIS, Immigration Office in the US, first approves it and then sends it to National Visa Center. So, historically, it will take about a month to 6 weeks for the National Visa Center to contact us and say, okay, let's start this step 2. Right now, sometimes it's taking 3 months, sometimes it's taking 1 day. And so it makes no sense, and that's what we got to deal with. So I don't know. Cashmo asks, my son's case almost to interview for a visa. Okay. I'm not. Have you submitted? Where's your son? Are they overseas? And have you submitted the documents to the National Visa Center yet? When National Visa approved, chance to get a visa soon? When NVC approved from chance to get a visa. So I don't know. If the NVC accepts all documents, it's up to the embassy and how much time and how much opening they have for appointment to schedule. It varies. In Mexico, it takes 6 months to a year to get an interview, and in Sweden, it might take a month. So, and then with the coronavirus, everything being closed, up in the air. So there's no set time. You just have to be patient. It happens when it happens. Cashmon says USCIS and NVC still involved. So USCIS is done with it. The NVC has it. If the NVC accepted all the documents, submitted, and they approved it, the NVC, the National Visa Center, then forwards it to the embassy and waits for them to make a final decision. That's what's happening there. Ecuador, I don't know. They're closed embassies right now. I don't know the timelines, but just be patient and see what happens. The timelines vary so drastically depending on different cases and different officers. It's impossible for me to give a really intelligent answer on that. Marina asks, my brother's medical got expired. Oh, that sucks. You got to get a new medical now. And that's that. You're welcome, Cash Mom. Hopefully your son will be here soon. And just make sure you deal with the DS-5540, the public charge form. Have that ready. Have your son's educational documents ready. A lot of different stuff to be prepared. But with regards to the medical expiry, that sucks. You'll have to do another one. Set another appointment up. A Designs asks, hi, sir. My I-751 petition is pending. 90 days. Window will be open soon for N400. Can I apply? I can't tell you whether you can apply because I don't know the facts of your case, but it is possible to apply for naturalization while you have removal of conditions pending. Now, whether you should apply or can't apply, I need to know more facts about your personal life and your background. I got a little bedhead right there with my hair. But with regard to your case, it is possible to file for citizenship if everything else is cool. If you're married to your spouse and living with your spouse, you have to be residing with your spouse. If those are clear, you pass the hurdle to be able to apply at the 2-year 9-month mark, but then you have the other hurdles for citizenship. On Facebook, Brett Sharp asks, have you heard anything about U.S. Embassy in Germany opening for interviews in June? Yes, Brett, I was talking about this earlier. They are kind of scheduling stuff in June. Especially if you're doing a non-immigrant visa, go to their website. You go in calendar for a non-immigrant visa, see what's going on. But it seems like things are starting to open up. But we'll see. These things could change on a dime. So optimistic some things will be happening. Mehnaz asked, my 2-year green card going to expire soon, the conditional green card, yeah. So before it expires, there's a 90-day window where you have to file for removal of conditions. If you don't do that, you fall out of status, potentially get sent to immigration court for deportation. You want to be on top of that. If you want to schedule a consultation with my office and look into it, see what's going on, please email me, info@jqqlaw.com. Please note fees do apply for a consultation, but just let me know. Fami asks, I'm a bit worried about public charge form. I don't know. Yeah, the public charge form is really new, and right after it got created, the coronavirus happened, so the embassy shut down. So we don't really know how they're going to really adjudicate these things, how they're going to deal with it. But you just have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And just by preparing, have the documentation needed to help. I need more information about your son to see what we can do, but things to show that he speaks English, has education, makes money back home, all these kind of stuff, has good health. All these kind of things could help the case. Emirat, Turkey, definitely. I'm not sure what your question is, but Turkey. I hear you. Turkey is kind of closed right now too. I was having a consultation with a Turkish couple 2 days ago, and Turkey is on a lockdown right now, and the embassy's closed there. They're frustrated too. Interesting thing in Turkey is they have a new program. It seems, I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer from Turkey, but if you buy some property there, buy a home in Turkey, they might just give you Turkish citizenship. So this is helpful for other countries. For example, if you're from China, having Turkish citizenship could help with the E2 visa program. It's an investment program. So it's something to get the word out. If it's true, Turkey has a treaty with America where if you're Turkish, have a Turkish passport, you can invest and start a business in the United States and move here to run your business. Brazil, Russia, India, China, all these big countries don't have this treaty with the United States. So maybe an easy way, if you got some money, buy some property there, it's an investment, and then get the passport and then use that to apply for an E2 visa and start a business in the United States. We got to start a business first and then apply for the visa. But it's an interesting little thing that you can do to look into. Hopefully it is the case and that continues. I mean, you got to put some money down, buy a piece of property, but it's not too bad. If you haven't already, just a reminder, follow and tell your friends and share this feed so we get more people joining the group in this live. As long as we have a lively group asking questions and watching and enjoying it, I'll be happy to continue it. We got a lively discussion here. Please send it out. And if you want to contact me, my email is info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com. So yeah, the quarantine's happening. I'm in Los Angeles. Hopefully you guys are doing okay too. Let me know what parts of the world and what parts of America you're joining from. It's interesting to see. A lot of times there's a lot of people from New York, a lot of people from San Francisco, Turkey. Everyone's joining, but Texas, not Turkey. I say Turkey, it's fun seeing people from other places of the world. TikTok is so wide and stuff. I've been talking about I haven't done those 1-minute videos on TikTok for a while. I think I'm going to get back into it because it was a lot of fun. I got a little bored of doing it, but I'm kind of itching to get it back into it. Marinaz follows up, I already filed the removal of conditions, but I didn't get back anything. Well, if you filed it, you should soon after be getting a receipt. If you did not get a receipt, that's a serious issue. You got to see what's going on. Maybe see if they cashed the check. Then that might give you some idea. Dallas, Texas, wonderful. We got a lot of people from Dallas joining. Thank you for joining. I was talking with a guy this morning that was in Dallas, Texas, actually. Are you him, Mr. Terms and Conditions? Is that, Mr. Are you the person I had a consultation with this morning, Mr. Terms and Conditions? But it was a very good couple. I was really happy. Hopefully I could help them out. When I do video consultations, Faith, thank you as well, down to Dallas, Texas. And then I like seeing the couples together, and when they're nice couples and they're really in love and they're just eager to get it done, it's really nice to see people just, that's what I love about my job. I'm helping people who are married and just starting a better life for each other and just really happy kind of stuff. Well, it's not you, Mr. Terms and Conditions, but thank you for joining the feed, and feel free to let me know general immigration questions that y'all have so we keep this going. We go till 5 o'clock. It says Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 5:30 Pacific. User 333 says, I finished filing my husband's paperwork. How long does it take to get a response back from immigration? Well, you should be getting a receipt about a week or two after filing. The rest of it is up in the air. Depends on how long they take. You could check out uscis.gov once you get your receipt notice and see what timelines they have to tell you there. But when it comes to how long to get a response back, yeah, you get the receipt. After that, it's unknown. You shut down biometrics points. There's a fingerprinting appointment they have to do. They shut that down. So those are taking longer than usual whenever things open up again. But that's as much as I could tell you here. Try visiting uscis.gov. That's the Immigration Department's website in the U.S. And they have a button for checking, case processing times and the like. You put your case type in there and which service center it's at and which field office is going to be. It gives you general understanding ideas of how long things are going to take. It's not reliable. It's not reliable. Let me say it's not reliable. But it is what it is. That's better them saying it than me. I've seen things happen all over the place. So that's the situation with the Immigration Service and the unreliability of timelines. And I understand there's a lot of things going on. One thing that's problematic is that they're going to be increasing fees. So they overspent their money, so they're going to be increasing the filing fees with USCIS, so that's going to be a headache. But on another bright note, if you're especially on an employment-based visa, the Visa Bulletin was just released for next month. The Visa Bulletin is the page that has the dates of how long the lines are for many green card cases for employment and family-based. And one thing that was interesting is people who are on the employment-based EB3 category, it was January 2017 cases that they were issuing green cards. It jumped forward about 10 months to November 2017. So that helps a lot of people hurry up and get their green card who've been in line. EB3 category is current up until March. And then all of a sudden it went back, 3 years. And then it went for 10 months in a 1 month span. So these things jump all over the place. And that's why when people ask, how long does this take? It's very hard to tell how long it takes. So things jump back and forward. There's travel bans, there's medical issues that pop up, there's lost documents. There's a myriad of things that happen that make it really hard to give a reasonable and reliable time frame for how long things take. And each office does things differently. In Los Angeles, they process cases at different timeline than they do in New York or in Florida or in San Francisco. Not the states and cities comparing those, but each one of them is different, and each case is different. Usually, like Los Angeles, my case on average between 3 to 7 months. I have one case that's last 14 months before the coronavirus, and I don't know why that is. No reason for them to take that long. It's very frustrating. Clients frustrated. But that's just, if I told him, at the beginning, that's what I always tell clients, I don't know for sure. These are general estimates. So I let him know. And things can go longer. You never know. It's 1 out of 100, 1 out of maybe 50 to 100, but it is what it is. These things happen all the time, especially if you're just dealing with this on a day-to-day basis like me and seeing it. So that's the situation with that. Now, if you have some quick questions, let me know about the immigration system or what kind of issues you have. We talked about removal of conditions. This is if when you got your initial green card through marriage, the marriage was less than 2 years old. And what happens is they give you a limited conditional green card that's only valid for 2 years. And then at the 2-year mark, or there's a 90-day window before the green card expires, you have to file another application, removal of conditions, Form I-751, to then reprove and represent evidence, new evidence, that the relationship was real and you're really together. And that's taking like over a year to get approved. That's how bad it is. They don't have enough people working on those cases. So it's taking over a year to get the I-751 removal of conditions approved. Sometimes I see people take 2 years. And it's really nasty. But luckily, if you're living and married to a U.S. citizen, in the meantime, you can apply for U.S. citizenship. They give you a special exception where you can file for U.S. citizenship at the 3-year mark instead of at the 5-year mark, and even 90 days before each of those. And so you can take advantage of that. But what you want to make sure is if you get a citizenship interview called for and you show up to do an appointment to do a citizenship interview, naturalization interview, and they haven't adjudicated and decided on the I-751 at that time, you got to make sure they adjudicate at the same time, or else it goes into a black hole. And that's when you definitely need to have a lawyer. Faith asks, I saw on the news that USCIS needs a bailout. Can you talk about what that means? Yeah, USCIS blew through a lot of money. And they have really bad management at the top, political leadership. Unfortunately, it may be intentional. They might want to bankrupt the system, the way they're doing things. So they blew a lot of money over the last couple of years, the last 10 years, frankly, but it just worse and worse. And now they don't have enough money to keep things going. And so because of that, they're running out of money. They're going to increase the fees and taxpayers to bail them out. Usually USCIS collects fees. So everyone who applies for an application pays a lot of money. If you apply for a marriage green card case in the United States, you have to spend $1,760 to get your case going. And so they make a lot of money from this stuff, but they don't handle the money well. There's a lot of money that they blow. And so because of that, they're running out of money. And so what happens is they're going to get a bailout, they're going to increase the fees, and put on everyone's back. Their bad management is going to put on everyone's back. And the employees are tired of this too. They're putting a lot of pressure on them. It's just a mess, unfortunately, but this is what's happened. User 333 asks, does this case take longer if my husband has DACA? The DACA is unrelated to a case taking faster or slower. I need to know what's going on with your case to see what happens, but the DACA itself is unrelated. Sunshine, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Honey Dylan, thanks for joining. We got some new members joining right now. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have some quick questions. Now, DACA, I just said in passing really fast, that's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It was a program President Obama started to let people who came to the United States at a young age and overstayed or entered without permission with their families to be able to get a work permit and not be afraid of being deported if they're not criminals, they were here long enough, they went to high school, have some sort of degree potentially, doing good, to get a work permit and just be able to live their lives, get a social security number and the like. So it's a good program. President Trump wants to get rid of it. He's trying to get rid of it. The Supreme Court should be making a decision anytime now this year to say whether they're going to keep it, not keep it, how it's going to look. We're waiting on that decision to come. It's been a while, but once it comes, it's going to affect 1 million people. And people that, told the government where they live, have lives, have jobs, have families. And so we're going to see, it's going to be a really nasty kind of thing if it goes negative. I don't know what's going to happen. If the Supreme Court is unknown how they do things, you can't really rely on it. But we'll have to see what happens. It's a really scary situation. If you have DACA, it was good that you got it because you give you a work permit for a lot of years. If you got married to a U.S. citizen and you did a thing called getting advanced parole, traveling in and out, and having your last entry be lawful, you could potentially get a green card. So there's a lot of good that came out of it too, but that's that. So Honey, you asked about my address. If you go to my TikTok page, there's a link tree that goes to my website, has my address there, but I only do video consultations anyway, so the best thing is just email me and we'll see each other by video and we'll do it like that. Noor Siddiqui asked, do you have any idea that immigration suspension will extend or not? They said there's no immigration suspension. Well, they've shut down interviews, and I was talking about this earlier, they're starting to reopen. That's all I know. So check USCIS.gov for the most recent information. And then asks, I'm on STEM OPT EAD and applied for adjustment of status F2A. I'm able to stay if EAD expired? Generally, yeah. So if you filed for adjustment of status form I-485 while you still had valid status, then yes, you can stay until a decision is made. You just don't want to violate your status in the meantime if you're F2A. If you're a spouse of a U.S. citizen or a child of a U.S. citizen, it would be helpful. So I would want to talk with you more about that because there's a lot going on. STEM OPT is for people who have graduated from a school and we're studying one of the STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, and math. They get some more time with their after graduation work experience, another year or two. But there's a lot going on in your case, so I'd want to advise you in private. But generally, if someone files for I-485, they can stay here even if their underlying status expires, but they just don't want to violate any status if they're adjusting based on being a spouse or a minor child of a green card holder. Those violations don't matter much depending on what the violations are. If you're married to a U.S. citizen or a child of a U.S. citizen, but it could affect you on other ways. So definitely consult a lawyer in private. Lovish asks, I got my work permit and how long does it take for a social security card to come during this time? Social security card should come along with the work permit pretty soon after or before. So if it's later, contact the social security office, asking what's going on and see what's there. Saskia, hey to you too. Thanks for joining. Saskia Abdullah. Let me know if you got any questions. Also, let me know where you're joining from. What city, what state, what country. Interested to see where people are joining us from on these kind of stuff. So the social security card, it used to be, go ahead, Saskia, ask your question. Faith asks, is it okay to travel with pending N400? Generally, yeah. If you have a citizenship case pending, it's okay to travel. Just don't be out too long. If it's a short trip, that's fine. Sassi Abdul, California, Velo, California. Thank you for joining. Let me know what your question is. With regards to the work permit and social security number, the work permit application for I-765, they changed it a couple years ago, and they made it so that once you file for a work permit, you could ask for a social security number. They're both supposed to come around the same time, but sometimes one's later than the other. It's all over the place. If you haven't had your social security number issued, try calling the social security office to see what's going on. Try to get the ball rolling. I know it can be a hassle once you have a work permit but don't have a social security number. It makes it really hard to actually work somewhere for an employer to hire you. So that's kind of annoying, and so that's something that you definitely want to look into and see what's going on with that. Okay, so Sasi asked your question. So Dharmik Patel asked, "Sir, is it true in New York immigration right now you can easily to get work permit?" No, there's nothing easy about it. If you have a proper case, then you could get a work permit. If you don't, you don't. I don't know, New York immigration, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Abil asked, "Can I get relief check if I hadn't filed last year?" I don't know. That's more of an accounting question. I don't handle the relief tax, all that's credit issues about the bailouts and in the situation with coronavirus. It's focused on immigration law, not on that kind of stuff. So definitely contact an accountant. Maybe they can give you better advice about tax relief and stuff like that. This is strictly an immigration channel talking about U.S. immigration. So yeah, we're reaching close to the end of the program today. If you ask some quick questions, so Sasi asked a question. He asked, "My wife came on a CR, a conditional resident visa, when we filed her DS-260. We checked off her, I want USCIS to generate Social Security card automatically." Okay. When did your wife come, Saucy? So when you apply for a green card and the foreign person goes to the embassy, there's an option on the DS form, form DS-260. This is the online form for a green card through the embassy that says, "I want to have a Social Security number issued." There's 3 questions you have to answer properly for that to happen. Once you enter the United States, it should be issued after 2 or 3 months. But with the coronavirus, everything's kind of all over the place. Everything's messed up. So what you really want to do, if it's been taking a long time, try calling or eventually going to the Social Security office and asking them what's going on. They may be able to give you the number orally and then put in their system to issue it for you. But it's a mess. Hopefully you have your green card, take it with you as proof as well. Lovish asks, "If my travel document application is approved, how long does it generally take to come?" If your travel document application is approved, it should arrive a week or 2 later in the mail. That's about it. Faith asks, "Is the stimulus check an issue for public charge?" It shouldn't be. The stimulus check should not be a public charge issue because it's not based on being means tested or something like that. So I don't think it will be. I wouldn't worry about it. So if she received her green card, call the Social Security office and see what's going on. Maybe go in person. One thing they're doing, which is really annoying, is they say if you want the Social Security number, mail us the green card so we can see it and we'll send it back to you. That's kind of scary to mail the green card to them because they might lose it. So try calling them up, try and see if they can issue it or boom it along without giving them the actual Social Security number. I'm not sure if you need the Social Security number right now, but you know, it's a messed up situation. Hopefully you get fully staffed and could deal with this issue more. You know, I'm looking at the phone down, my neck is starting to feel it. I gotta get a higher stance, so I'm looking at it straight. The neck is feeling from staring down like this. But that's that. Yeah, the COVID is really messing processing up. So if you have, in your situation, if you have like a Social Security number, it's not happening. Fortunately, it is what it is. You just got to contact them and see what can happen. Abil asks, "Do I need I-551 to travel international after filing 10 years, or can I fly with extension papers?" No, if you file, so what happened is this gentleman filed to filing 10 years. Did you have Abila, did you have a 2-year conditional residency green card or a 10-year that you're renewing? Which one is it? If it's a 10-year that you're renewing for another 10 years, you will need to get an I-551 visa stamp, a green card stamp in your passport to travel. If you're doing a removal of conditions, then you could use your expired green card plus the receipt, and that'll cover you for 18 months. Although not every airline agent will understand that, but that's what you should do. Lois, it's been like 1 month and I didn't receive my travel documents, so what can I do? You should call USCIS immediately to see what's going on, why it hasn't come, and hopefully it's not lost. Or sometimes if they try to send it to your house and they can't send it, the post office returns it to USCIS, and after a short period, USCIS destroys it and you have to request a new travel document. And that's why it's really important for you to call USCIS, double check with them to make sure that you know the card's still coming, what's going on, it hasn't been returned. So if it has returned, you can request it to be sent back, double check to make sure they have the right address, all that kind of stuff. But that's that. You know, maybe someone asked a question between, they keep moving, I might have missed it, so I'll ask your question again. But Dharmik asked, "Sir, I submit the work permit application in New York, immigration, asylum, so how long it takes?" Go to uscis.gov, type in your form type, and the office is sent to, and it'll give you an estimate how long it takes. I don't talk about timelines really here. Go to uscis.gov. Saucy follows up, "As Social Security office asked me when we filed, I'm confused. What do they mean when filled?" I don't know. I don't handle the Social Security portion. Just say I got my green card. I came on this date. What happened? What happened? That's that. So yeah, if you got a 2-year green card that you're renewing, the receipt that you got plus your expired green card is good for travel. Don't spend too much time outside the United States. Take your marriage certificate with you just in case. Show you're married. That's work for the best. Perfect. The receipt for I-75 removal conditions acts as an extension of your green card. So always have that with the expired green card. Have a copy of all those, front and back of them too, in your email system in case you need it. You don't want to lose that and not have a copy at the very least. So that helps. Oh, my neck. I gotta have better posture. Let's see. Sorry, buddy. I'm looking down constantly. I can just go shorter like this. That makes it easy. But yeah. So okay. Sorry. Is every day half an hour is goes to the end, but we're nearing the end. If you have any last questions, let me know. Honey Dylan asks, I approved I-130 and have I-485 pending, so can I travel or not? No. If you have an I-485 pending, you need to file for advanced parole travel document and have it approved before you can travel. I don't know why you didn't send the I-130 with the I-485. Depends on the case type, but that's that. Bila asks, I have expired green card and paper which says 10-year in process. Sure, if it was, again, if it was an I-751 removal of conditions, the receipt acts as an extension of your green card. You're welcome, Lovish. Well, thank you so much for everyone who joined today's talk. It was a pleasure talking with you and talking about some good topics, actually. We had good questions today. And so that's about it. There'll be video of this will be posted on the YouTube page, JQK Law Firm. You can put that in Google and all my social media comes. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. A lot of good information there. The live is also on Facebook, JK Law Firm, but primarily on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. If you haven't already, please follow, please comment, and get the ball rolling so we could do this more often, have more people involved, and ask some good questions so it can help as many people as possible. You're welcome, Abila. Thank you so much for joining today. And that's it. God bless everyone and be safe. And I'll see you all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.